All right, welcome to week 2 of the Operation Bad Blood 2025 live stream series. With me tonight is Joker, Doc
Hello.
from ASX, and Virtue from wherever he wants to be. How you guys doing today?
Wonderful.
Fantastic.
All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about respawns, how they work. So the three of you were lucky enough to be on the field last year and see how the respawn process worked. So I'm going to rely on you guys to kind of fill me in where I'm missing information and all that fun stuff. So what I'd like to cover tonight, when players are going to be respawning, how to capture a new respawn location, and respawn key points outlined in the player packet that everybody will be reading.
Alrighty then.
Hey, you laugh. I'm going to say it every time. You got to read it.
We all know every player reads the player's packet. It's a
If
fact.
Oh yeah, I read it all the time. I know it front, back, sideways.
If we spend the time to write it, I expect you guys to spend the time to read it. You know, because
Words are
the
hard.
thing is, like, okay, you know, do the rules really change? Not a whole lot, but we do make adjustments based on the previous year. So if you're just going by the whole, hey, you know, I was there last year, I know the rules. Do you? What did we change? You know, so especially players who maybe missed a couple of years because of, you know, COVID and all kinds of different reasons, they might not be familiar with the new CCP respawn system and thinking everything's just mobile respawns. So you gotta read about it. You gotta learn. So it makes sense to me. Anyway, so CCP, casualty collection points respawns. So from my idea, my understanding is every team is going to be starting in a static spot. You know what? Give me 1 second. Let me bring up. I know I have a map.
I know you have a map.
Yeah, I'm just going to remember how to present it. Oh, it's still there.
Click on share screen down at the bottom.
Yep, no, I've already got it. Okay, so this is this year's map. It's in the player packet. Every team is going to have a static starting point at the beginning of the game. And as the day progresses, you're going to then try and capture new static spawn points along the map. By doing so, the spawn in question needs to be empty, correct? There's no battling for spawns, right?
No fighting over spawn.
Okay, so it's got to be empty. And to capture that spawn, you have to relinquish your previous spawn, take your team's designated flag, and then hoist it at the new spawn. Is that correct?
And that's how it's supposed to work, yeah.
All right, so that's how it's supposed to work. How did it work?
So
I honestly forget.
It was chaotic, to be honest. As you know, when you have so many people and you have factions running into one another, I actually enjoyed it personally because you could see a huge flag just flying in the distance at times, and you know, with those people who get lost in the field at times, they knew there was some place to go.
Hey, that lined up awesome. Go on, please continue.
But I enjoyed the process. It was different. Instead of having somebody with a noodle on their back running around and impossible to find them. I mean, especially if they're in the woods somewhere.
That's fair.
I understand it worked out great. The few incidents we had were we need to, as a team, figure it out. But we had an incident where a team was raising their flag and taking fire while the flag was going up, and the argument became: is it a point when the flag is up, or is it a point once we start hoisting it?
Okay. If you're asking me, I would have ruled that as the spawn has been captured. They are in the process of declaring their spawn, so it's their spawn.
Yeah,
Okay.
the ruling on site was made that it's on the pole, it's their spawn, back off.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
I think that's fair when you have anywhere between 100 and 200 people. Or you're just gonna
exactly. Yeah, because I'm assuming the argument was, hey, you're shooting into our spawn, right?
That's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to take the spawn, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's where it came down. And I pulled the other team back and said, no, they're currently taking it. They're raising the flag. That is their spawn. Back off.
Yeah, that's how I would have ruled it. All right, that sounds good.
But other than that, I think it, except for the two chaotic moments we had, which was that incident, and then the other incident where two separate teams showed up to put their flag on the pole at the same exact moment, and absolute hilarity ensued.
Rock, paper, scissor that. Rock, paper, scissor it. On the spot.
I made the two quote unquote commanders on site duel for it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that works too.
Works, yeah.
Or knife fight, whatever.
Was any team able to take all of the spawns in one game?
The way it works is they can't.
No, I mean, like, was one team able to basically occupy every spawn at one point?
Yes.
Really?
Marxist did.
I'm
Awesome.
saying I think Marxist did. Deuce X gave it a good try. I think
We
they
got
got.
to run the field. I can't recall, to be honest, if we got every single one.
Yeah, I saw you guys at a lot of places. I remember watching you guys get stonewalled at one location outside of Fort War.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we kicked
that
you out a
was-
few times.
That one spot. That
Yeah.
one open spot.
They
Yeah.
came after it like 3 separate times, and every time another team just wrecked them.
That was actually a
I finished off all
recommendation
your
from
stragglers.
Moondog, where that spawn has now been removed. So let me bring the map back up again. You're talking basically D4 top corner, right? Roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's no longer a
That's
choke
crap.
point. So yeah, if you look, it's basically it's all kind of around the outskirts of the boundary, except for the one here at E6, E6, E7, the
Skull Tower.
yeah, the tower outside of Fort War. So there's no real choke points except for the
I feel
one.
like we should just call that one the church at this point because
I
that's
think
what
so.
everybody calls it.
Yeah, that works. But I think really the only choke is going to be, at least firefight wise, is going to be A5 right there at the base of the pines. That's going to be fun.
that's
I think
always a
you
firefight.
might be mistaken on that one because he said he's taken out, or Timmy said he's redoing a lot of B sector. So
And if he does, we'll
that might be a
hopefully
whole new area for us to mess around in.
yeah,
if it
and
is,
hopefully he'll
depending
give
on
us
what's done.
enough notice. But
Yeah.
as of now, this is the current layout. And I don't know if anyone remembers from our last talk two weeks ago. Mark, you weren't there. Joke, you weren't there. The whole pipeline section here, the B column,
Mhm.
that's all going to be terraformed and relatively flattened out.
Pretty much up to B5, I believe,
Yeah,
is
exactly,
what was said.
Is what we
Okay.
were told.
That's going to be
We were
pretty.
also told one year the grass would be cut. I am reserving.
Hey, there
until
was.
we get there.
I honestly.
There was also a year we asked him not to cut it because it
awesome.
was so short one other year. So it's kind of an oxymoron with that there.
Yeah.
Look, the pathways he cut through it a couple of years was fantastic.
Oh yeah, no, the path's good. I requested a cut because of the little trenches and the gopher holes that are in there. It's basically people
Yeah.
can see where they're going, and that's when he told me that no, we're actually going to be flattening it out as best they can. So a lot of those 2-foot knee breakers are going to be eliminated, which is nice.
Yeah, that is a really good help. It should definitely help with the medicals this year as well.
Yeah. So hopefully we won't have a lot of problems with that. So it's going to be nice. Yeah. What was the
I'm
agenda?
gonna say overall, I think the flow with the way the CPs worked actually helped keep the game moving.
All right.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Okay.
So
So
what helped keep the game moving was the fact it started to rain. It was cool outside. So
Monsoon.
yeah. Now, in my tenure with Bad Blood, we've kind of done respawning 2 different ways depending on who the embed in charge of triage was. Some people would release their horde every 10 minutes on the clock, and some would release them every 10 minutes after your first player took a casualty. Yeah,
I
What?
never heard that said. It was
Yeah.
always
Who the
10
hell
minutes
did
on the
that?
clock.
We
Yeah.
did that at our old field, and I was actually enforcing that for a couple years where we were doing that. Where
Oh, you're talking old Bad Blood, homie. We out with new rules.
I'm
Yeah,
aware.
we've
I
been
helped
do- we've
write
been
the new
doing it on the
rules.
10.
I'm just
John,
saying.
We listen, compared to the people that we used to have, we have literal children on the field.
Yeah. So I
So-
think everyone just does it on the 10s via the clock, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's generally always on the 10s of the clock unless there's special circumstances, which usually comes down from you or Moondog.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I know I like towards the end of the day, I kind of like to speed it up a little bit, but that's just me. To get.
I mean, when you get down to that last hour, going down to 5 minutes is usually one of those things that I kind of expect.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially as a tribal, like I'm waiting for those bigger waves to start hitting a little bit more consistently and be kind of like white caps wherever I'm held up.
That sounds good. I dig that plan. Let me think. Is there anything else really?
Hey, Garcia.
What's up, Garcia?
that-
I was like, I didn't see nothing come in yet. Oh, there he is.
So, okay, so we got
Also, nice casting couch, Doc.
Damn.
So let's talk a little more about the actual CCPs, because again, I didn't really see them. So, are they kind of just points on a map that people have to kind of remember? Are there structures? Are they like tents? Like what's up
Let's. I think for that one, we should probably pull up the map. That way, everybody can see where we're talking about.
It's really split because some of them we tried to make sure they were near something as a landmark,
Yeah.
but there was
So
one or two that there was literally nothing around.
Well, like what are you hoisting your flags on?
There was some poles that, like down by the airfield, there was one.
I was gonna say there are a couple out there, as well as they have the one watchtower that you could also hang it off of.
Yeah,
There was definitely one in the back of the Alpha 8, and in Alpha 5 there was one.
Yeah.
So I mean there
So-
was
The flags are I guess they're on static poles, is what I'm figuring out.
there were some
Yeah.
poles already on the field that we used.
Right, but I mean, it's like the person carrying your flag, is it already affixed to a pole, or are they just
No.
carrying a piece of
No,
fabric?
they're just
Okay.
carrying the flag.
Got it. Okay.
We thought about having a pole, and then I think it was Moondog, or it might have been Buck that pointed out giving them a stiffed object to run around with was a bad idea.
Yeah, we did aluminum poles.
Was
one
it you,
year,
Buck? Yeah.
and it didn't go well.
That's why I suggested the foam noodles. I saw that going south very quickly, considering someone tried to get in a very aggressive argument with an embed the year before.
Mm. Did any teams find themselves kind of in no man's land, in between spawns and starting to take fire?
I saw a little bit of just kind of crashing in Tipman Town for no reason. So I saw a lot of stagnation just in between Plantation and Tipman. And
but that's
Fort Ward,
always
just
the spot
little
that
trifecta. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things you can't avoid. But it seems, I mean, I thought things were flowing pretty well for the times we had out
Well,
there last year.
I don't mean stagnant as in they're not moving. I meant more like, okay, we just relinquished the spawn and we're trying to take a new one, but we're starting to take casualties, so we got to set up a triage somehow. Did that
Oh, yeah, Green got stuck, or it was one of the teams got stuck in Tipman hard.
So what
and
did you do?
then-
Revert down to the mobile triage idea?
Well, so
Virtue and I went down and killed them.
Basically.
All right.
But so the idea was to keep the one pool noodle per team, so they still had a way to respawn.
Okay.
But what most teams started doing, which is what we hoped they would do, was they would send out a small force to take the new point before they move the old one.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. And then you
When the
basically
new one gets taken, the old one goes down.
yeah.
I mean,
that makes
the crossfire at Fort War that we had to kind of admin unclusterfuck was hilarity because we
That
had
was fun.
three teams going to different places to take new spawn points, but they were in each other's path.
Doc, how did you manage it? What did you send out?
I did exactly what they were doing. Everybody did the same thing. It seems like I sent out a force, find the next pole, throw the damn thing on it, or call the guy on the radio and hey, get running, and then I would just
Marxist.
start running.
Marxist
And
did
then,
Marxist.
like
so glad I don't have to deal with this crap.
that Tittman town was just a death trap for everybody. Anybody that took that spawn point just got stuck.
That
Massacre.
place is the kill zone. That entire area, it's sniper. It's a
It's a
sniper's
death
wet
trap.
dream.
Honestly, I was gonna suggest we should probably drop one of the spawn points. I was thinking A5. I don't think we should have that. I think we should either go A3 or A5, not both. They're too close.
Well, A3 should probably be a starting point, and
Yeah, A3
as
is point.
as and then it drops down from there because if you have A3, that
Then
was
just
like
put it as A4. Meet them in the middle. Put it at A4. There's
Well,
one
there was
spawn
a-
point right there.
Yeah, there was a
So you
there was
can't,
a
I don't know if you guys can see it. It actually has them marked now. Yeah, I can't even see it.
Which one are you trying to point out, bud?
The actual starting points. It's in the legend of the map. What just happened?
Oh,
here?
you're talking in the bottom right corner?
Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
see.
yeah,
so
but
that
if they're
is
starting
range.
positions, if
D1,
they're starting,
D3, A3, and E8.
Okay.
I mean, if they're starting positions and they go away, that's fine. But yeah, I think the only time there was really an issue last year was towards the end of the day. I know Marxist rolled up on green, and we took the flag at A5. They were, or somebody was, I think it was green that was at A3, and there was a little bit of a back and forth, but we got to where we wanted to, and we kept moving on through the pine forest.
I agree with them. I think those two are really close.
Yeah, but from the way I'm reading it and looking at the starting points, who's starting at A3 is going to be
Green.
Green's Army.
Yep.
They're just going to take A5 immediately anyway.
Yeah, so why not just get rid of it and just leave it as one spawn point? Just have them have plantation at B4, put it right in the center there of the plantation, let them get a good rounded area that they can defend, and cut out the other two.
It does. A5 is kind of superfluous, to be completely honest. If we need the extra, if we need the point, I'd honestly move it up towards like B6.
I was going to say we could probably go for F4 for Eastern Highlands, because that area doesn't have a whole lot going on, and I know there are some like structures down in the woods there.
So the problem with Eastern Highlands, it's the whole eastern section is what we've been trying to avoid. Is
Yeah,
people
I know.
going down there.
I know.
You know where I'm talking about.
I know. It's just kind of one of those things of how were we gonna. We could hypothetical. What if we do instead E4 instead of D3? Do E4
Well,
and A4.
the problem with E4, I feel, is it's going to start to creep and creep and creep closer to Fort War, and it's going to create that choke point again.
Yeah,
E4 is right on that.
That's a good point.
We could throw it in the eastern swamp area. Where the Eastern Highlands jungle, that center, that mass right in the middle. I think it's
a problem that comes up is that comes up almost every year is when you have people that are out of shape going or overheated, whatever, going up and down inside
That
those
area.
ravines.
Yeah, that area does get quite a bit of traffic for heat caches, especially due to the high grass there and not a lot of wind able to go through it.
I'm kind of inclined to keep it as is and eliminate A5.
I think that's a good.
If you keep
That's what we're talking
A5,
about.
if you keep A5 there, you just take away the ability to
A3.
turn A3 when the game starts. There's no reason to go to A3.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah. So, yeah, basically merging those two into one makes the most sense to me.
Yeah,
Everything else
let
is
them do
kind
it.
of creates like a circuit around the whole map, avoiding problem areas like, the
true.
ridge in G and H. So, yeah, I'm kind of inclined to leave it as it is and eliminate, you're right, A3, A4, that one, and move the starting point to A5.
Well, if you move the starting point to A5, you give an advantage. You could still start them at A3,
Right.
and then
That's
have
why I
them go
was.
out, and just
If we
keep
meet
this-
it right in the middle there.
Well, I mean, you still want them on the fence line, right? Because if you're looking at some of the stuff that we know where it's going to be at
Yeah.
roughly, if you keep them at the starting points, because that's all they are. That's where they start.
Yeah, they're just going to
You-
immediately run for the pines anyway.
Yeah. So you don't need to really have them go like you don't need to move that spawn point is what I'm saying. You can leave the spawn point as is, and you just say, look, this is no longer
Basically, after we start game, that's no longer.
yeah,
a spawn point.
A3 is no longer a respawn point. That's the only one that gets eliminated at the start. I mean, Southgate, sure, we could still keep that one because of the airstrip
Yeah.
stamp.
And we're not starting anybody in Tipman Town, so it's not like you're going to get somebody standing in those blocks, basically shooting at them as they're trying to make way for the pines. It's
Ian, it says
it's a straight
D3
run.
Tipman Town, Deuce X starts.
Yeah, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
straight run. So yeah, Deus Ex
So-
starts by, or Black Shirt starts by Timmy's house.
Okay, so black shirts are starting D1. Who's starting D? Are we moving D3 then? Or are we
Oh no,
moving
you're right.
Deuce
It
X
is
to a
D3.
different one?
I read it as I didn't see the D. No, it is D3. Okay, but still, they're not going to be shooting that way. They're going to be making their way through Tipman Town towards Fort War, most likely anyway. And I mean that's up to Doc how they want to do it.
I
But
don't know.
I'm not telling you what to do. Okay,
No,
you're right.
you're
So
fine.
He's not telling you what to do. What he's saying is, don't be a prick.
Don't be a yeah.
yeah, so
Oh.
basically, if who's A3? A3 is
Green.
Green's Army. If Green's Army and Deus Ex both just head due north, they're not going to be in any conflict with anybody with each other anyway.
So that'll just be a CO call then.
Yeah. So all right, yeah. That
Where's Marxist?
Marxist
Marks
starting
E8
E8
at the back,
All-
North Head Trail.
all the way up top.
Damn. Okay. We did that 2 years ago.
Honestly, that's a really good spot, though. You guys usually make that a pretty fun trip.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not,
Especially when I've been back in Fort War or when I was running in Airstrip. You guys pushed us in real quick from up there. Whoever was down there made it their way either first or second to where I was. So you guys always kept it interesting.
Only
So I
thing
think you'll have some fun.
The only thing I hate about that respawn way up north is the stragglers at the beginning of the game who think it's a short walk or don't know where to go or anything like that. So, which actually brings me to something I wanted to bring up in a further stream, but we can talk about it now. I will be looking for some volunteers right, before game volunteers, like not us. We already have our jobs. But I'm going to be looking for these positions. I couldn't come up with the word. I kept calling them marshals, which is true, but that fits too much in with what an airsoft marshal is. You know what I mean? Like an in-game referee. So basically what I need is going to be ushers, somebody who's going to be in the camping area prior to safety briefing to basically get everybody out of camp to the safety briefing on time. And then those ushers, as the game starts and everybody's funneling onto the field, kind of point directions, green this way, Marxist up there, black shirts over, you know what I mean? Like, so people who haven't bothered to read the player packet and look at the map aren't immediately stepping on the field going, where do I go? Well, you should already know that, but
You need flight attendants. Get them the little wands.
yeah, exactly. Learn semaphore, people. And
You better get us the air safety traffic controllers.
and I don't want to step on his toes. We're assuming Cyamp is probably going to do it, so I'll offer to him first. But a line inspector pre-chrono to make sure everybody who's in line for chrono has everything they need, so they don't get turned away with their what was it last week? What we called it? Their cartload of gun. Their cart.
Oh, yeah,
the
there
battle
was-
wagon.
Yeah, the battle wagon. Thank you. Their battle wagon of guns, and I don't have my iPro.
well, that was fun last year. Just telling people two, because one, like there was a few people that came up with an entire. They're like, well, it's for my entire team. Then have your team come up here and do this. You're not holding up a station for 20 minutes to chrono 20 guns.
It's been the same since I took over Chrono.
Well, let me
Friday.
that's actually a
Bring
good.
your wagon.
What do you do as chrono boss when somebody says, "Oh, I'm chronoing for my whole team"?
Tell your team, then you're going to do 2 guns, go to the back of the line, do 2 guns, go to the back of the line. The problem that comes up, it's effectively, and Sink could back me up here. It's cutting the line, and on top of that, it ties up the chrono. It ties up the chrono for the entire thing, and it's like, we've seen it happen at so many different events where they're bringing 20, 30 guns. It's like, bro, y'all can wait, Um,
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care who your team is. It's just not cool.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing:
missed the last-
unless you're staff who needs to get somewhere, the only
Yeah.
people I allow to cut in line.
Right.
Friday night or Friday afternoon is when you bring your battle wagon. That's when we will take time and work through those piles. Saturday ain't the day to do it. And the guys that come through, I look at them and smile and I say, well, which ones are yours? They take them out. We chrono those, and then I point them back to the line.
Yeah.
You're not cutting your buddies.
Sometimes we got to be a little rude. It's not really one of those things where can you do 2 rifles and a pistol? If it's green gas.
If they're yours, I'm not going to do your friend.
Well, I'm the dick that's usually at the head of the line, telling everybody, or before they even get in line, no. And so,
How
and
often does that happen? Because
a lot.
Yeah.
a lot.
Dude, the
Yeah,
share
there's
of
people that-
last year that walked up and Joker's being a dick. Why is he being a dick? Well, he said I couldn't do this and this and this. It's like, okay, why are you
You
bothering
can't do
me?
it. You can't do it. It's like it's not that
People got to
I'm a-
chrono so late last year too. It was rough.
Yeah, well, you also have staff that need to go and do their jobs and everything else. Everybody's doing this as a volunteer. It's one of those things where it's like, y'all should be trying to get there Friday and get your chrono done Friday.
Right. Well, that's. I'm
this-
glad you say that because Joker, you and Doc missed last week's or 2 weeks ago stream, and Virtue was already mad at me because I'm playing with the schedule a little bit, and this affects Doc more than you because Joker, I know you're blind and you can't read a chrono anymore. Change the times just a wee bit.
Yeah.
So there's our schedule, our operating schedule. Because
Yeah,
I
Gert,
even
that's
time.
that's reasonable, Gert. That's something that like most of us do. We have our primary, our backup, and our pistol. That's what we do.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
We're only
Don't come up with
chronoing-
an entire barrel.
I mean, if it's an HBA pistol, it's getting chronoed. If it's green gas, it was not getting chronoed, right? It was just CO2.
Just
Right,
CO2.
Just so it's an
Yeah.
HPs.
It's CO2.
Just-
There's only one green grass pistol we chrono, and we have yet to see one in 3 years. And trust me, every time it's come up, somebody has screamed my name anyway.
Which one is that?
Oh God, where is it?
But yeah, so I don't know if you guys noticed the chrono is going to start Saturday morning at 7 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. I'm trying to push everything up a little
You
bit.
suck.
We always get the-
It's not here. It's the pistol. it's Dan Wesson revolver.
Oh, the smoke wagon.
They make a green gas variant.
Yeah, that thing's powerful. Yeah. Yep, I know it. All right.
I mean, there was that one guy that kept bringing guns after guns after guns. I kept sending him back, and he goes, "I'll be back with 2 more." I was like, "Come back with 2 more," And here's the other thing too, people. If we say chrono's closed and there's people in line, that does not mean that you get a chance to be at the end of the line, just because there's people still chronoing. Chrono closes,
Right.
and you're going to get turned away, and you get mad about it. You can go complain to anybody that you want to, but chrono closes.
Making sure the minute we call, 15 minutes till safety briefing, well, line stops.
Line's closed.
And
That's not saying if you're already in line at that point. When we close chrono, if you're in line, we're going to get those people through, but nobody else is getting at it.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, depending if the line is crazy, we'll probably call half an hour kind of thing. But we'll
Generally talk
play that
over
by
the
ear.
radio.
But, the rule of thumb I think is going to be, don't show up with your battle wagon on Saturday morning thinking you're going to get through, and make all efforts to do it on Friday. It's just that much faster, that much easier, because we are going to be.
I mean, I'll give the speech again. Make sure you got your BB, your mag that's ready to go. Make sure you got your iPro. Make sure you have your barrel cover or whatever barrel blocking device you use. I'm not going to go through the list of stuff I'm not accepting because some of you took it as a challenge last year to add to that list.
Yeah.
Y'all know. I mean, y'all know what you need to. I mean, most of y'all know what you need for Chrono. Your full seal iPro. Your gun ready to fire. Can we talk about that for a second? Unless it's
you missed my rant last week.
Remember your battery. Remember your mag.
Yeah, remember your battery. Remember your mag. Make sure that you have your, your regulator, your tank full of air.
Make sure you've got gas or CO2 on you.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Joker! I don't know if you were. No, you weren't there when it happened, and you missed last weekend. Make sure the gearbox is actually in your rifle.
Forgot about that.
Thank you, Moondog. Very good point. Don't show up late and expect to start the game at the start. You're like, just because teams have deployed doesn't mean you get to run out. You still got to go through Chrono just like everybody else. And then you got to be cleared. You got to make sure you have all your stuff with you. Then you can then go to your spawn point and start the game. There's no just rushing out and start, shooting at whatever moves. You got to start where your team starts, just like everybody else. Nobody is going to game the game.
We had it, at the last Thunderdome, we had people try to do that, especially on the Sunday, sneak in. And what they didn't realize was that we were re-chronoing everybody because of stuff that happened. So people that came in late were miraculously the ones that were shooting hot.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's a miracle.
It's amazing how that works, right?
Do you also want to rant about how the water system got shut?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, the sprinklers.
Oh.
I wasn't there. Hey, look.
I was right there when it happened, too.
That was
I was
funny.
on the other side of the barricades when what's-his-name shot it out. I was pissed.
Which one? The first one or the second
The
one?
first one. I was literally walking back in to go grab my kit and get ready to go back out because I had just walked Mac off the field because he busted his knee.
Were they chemical
Came back
or
in.
water?
Water. It was brown, though.
Yeah. Oh, it was great.
It was
and
all
the second
rust
one got
water.
blown up with a nade, with a boom boom.
Luckily, I was trying to find my way to the basement at that point.
So
Funny
I think,
how all that
Joker,
works.
you were about to go on a rant about, I call them Franken guns.
I wasn't going to rant about the Frankie guns. I don't have to deal with that. But, I mean, homemade, like...
Well, not
that
even homemade. Like, bring your reliable stuff. I don't want to see something that's held together with bubble gum and a prayer. And you're
2 years ago, the guy that duct taped two M4s together and tried to get it through Chrono.
I don't remember that, but I believe it.
Brad Beaver. Brad Beaver was the one that took out the first sprinkler, by the way. So yeah, what bad time to join in there, Beaver.
Ears were burning.
Yeah, but bring your reliable AEGs or HPAs. What are you using? I don't want to see a bunch of lipos duct taped to a stock with a bunch of frayed wires, and if the thing, even if you say water around it, you're going to get shocked from it. Like bring something that's going to work, because you're going to be out there all day long. And
you ever seen a 65 watt lipo in an airsoft gun?
It's a very terrain. It's going to be hot as balls,
or rainy.
Yeah, or raining.
Stop talking about the weather. Don't.
Be smart. Bring the stuff that is going to work, that's going to last you the whole day. Because if you have to leave the field to go back to your battle wagon and get your other Franken M4, don't.
That you didn't chrono.
Get right, yeah. That you didn't chrono. Oh, well, I just chronoed. Yeah, but there's no tag on this one. You didn't chrono this one. Oh, I got it from my car.
Never heard of Crythera.
Bad Brad.
Yeah, just like
Oh, no.
No, Brad's not wrong. I mean,
No,
not
I know. I'm
wrong.
just messing with him.
But like, make sure you got what you need. Like the guy last year who came through with that skeletonized M4, and I asked him twice. I was like, "Are you sure you want to run this?" He's like, "What's wrong with it?" I was like, "It's legal. You can take it." I wouldn't run a skeletonized rifle in this weather. And as soon as the water started falling, his gun broke down.
Yeah.
No, say it ain't so.
Just come prepared, guys. Just
You know, most airsoft AEGs can handle weather just fine. I mean, my very first Vietnam game, it was raining the entire weekend. I was sleeping in a hammock, and my AK was just propped up against a tree. All I had to do was just tip it over and pour the water out of the barrel, and I was good to go.
dude at Thunderdome.
Back when it was
3D
all
printed
Marui.
M4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying I have one of those in the works, but
Now, 3D printers, I know we're going to tangent, so let's go for it. 3D printing I'm seeing more and more 3D printed airsoft stuff. I don't know if I would want an entire replica 3D printed, but how do you guys feel about using certain 3D printed things?
Here's the thing. I've seen some of the most complex 3D printed HPA tap systems of my life. They were hitting beamers from far away. They were all legal. Some people can make some really cool shit.
I don't see
For the
those-
mass, I don't.
I would say
There are some rare exceptions.
right now. I think we're in the Wild West when it comes to like 3D printing and airsoft, because I've seen like if they're printing with like the ABS reinforced nylon, that thing's a brick. I have no issues, but there's so many people that print with like cheap PLA and are surprised when it shatters.
Hmm.
I've seen 3D printed grenades lately, which no.
Ooh,
I
3D
swear to
printed
God,
grenade, Joker.
If I see a 40 millimeter The Rock head
Oof.
get shot at me, we're throwing hands. This
Yeah, I
is
They're
saw
not,
that.
supposed, they're not supposed to launch. They're not supposed to do launchables at this game.
Yeah, that's correct.
There's no launchables at this game, but people are making
yes, but that
handheld
didn't stop
throwables.
someone 2 years ago.
No, he's right.
Then they get kicked off the field. I mean,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean,
My favorite was the guy that launched that dummy round and then denied he launched it and then came back to ask for it back. And I said, I thought it wasn't yours. So either it's yours and you shot it and you're leaving the field, or it's not yours and you want to steal it.
yeah, Brad's just got a good point when it comes to the ponchos. Please either have Faction Pacific color or clear see-through.
Yeah, that was actually Daniel, but yeah,
or be a man.
Oh, Brad Walls. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Brad Walls said that.
Or
So
be a man, embrace the suck.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Because
I
that's
embraced the
the thing,
suck. It
you
was
know, like with the amount of
did last
people
year.
that are going to be on the field, faction identification is key. And now I'm talking to the Chewbacca's out there.
Gillies, baby.
Just, I mean, I get it. You know, in your airsoft world, you do a sniper kit. That's great. Good on you for having that kind of dedication to that craft. That's wonderful. Ghillie suits, while not allowed, such a bad idea, because one, you're gonna die in it. It's so hot. Why would you do that to yourself? Two, faction identification is going to become that much harder. And three, there was a three.
So it's going to get wet and heavy.
Drop it.
Well, okay, so it's going to be wet and heavy. And four, Bad Blood isn't a static game. It's a game of movement. So posting up somewhere and defending an area,
That's
there's no
what you wear these for.
yeah, there's
if
no
you're on this
exactly,
team.
yeah. For anyone on Deus Ex, Black Shirts, Green's Army, or Marxist Task Force, you're not defending anything.
You shouldn't
The
be in
idea of
static
a
positions.
sniper or a sniper team posted up taking pot shots at people doesn't make any sense, because that's not in the spirit of the game.
Mm.
Some
Not-
people get a little butthurt.
Not,
All right, I gotta get a little butthurt and play devil's advocate here, because my second, maybe my third Bad Blood, I did run out in a ghillie with a sniper rifle, me and my buddy, and we had a blast. There's a certain style of play where you move, shoot, move, shoot, move, shoot. Like every time we took an objective, me and my buddy would go find a spot, post up while our team pushed in. That's effective play as a sniper role.
Agreed. Now, and if you are a Chewbacca out there, if you see BBs landing around you, call the hit. They see you, call the hit.
They probably hit you and you just didn't feel it in the bush.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if you are going to wear a ghillie suit in this day and age, 2025, there are so many better options as far as like lightweight mobility and temperature control. Like I don't have mine here; it's packed up in the basement. But I got a Cobra hood with minimal leaf on it. That thing's like wearing a T-shirt everywhere I go. Would I run it now at Bad Blood? No. The game is too fast-paced and way too chaotic. Even when we ran as a sniper team, we got shot by our own team. Not to mention the distances on this field. It was, Bad Blood, the second Bad Blood I played at, I got what I thought was one of the sweetest shots. I was in the woods outside a pipeline, and I nailed the guy in the back of the head in Titman Town. He didn't take the hit, because by the time the BB got there, it felt like a love tap on the back of his head. He stopped, and he's looking around, and he asked his buddy, did I just get hit? And his buddy goes, huh? So I shot him again, and then he sees the BB hit, he calls it, and he's still looking around, trying to figure out where it's coming from.
Right.
Like, I'm going to stand up and go, yeah, that was me.
That's the inherent problem with sniping in airsoft is 9 times out of 10, if you get hit by a sniper, you're not going to call it because you didn't see where it came from. Most people are tend to only call hits when they can actually see who they're getting shot at or shot
Or at
by.
least see it coming in at them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I didn't know how
It's sniping at Bad Blood is like playing Bad Blood in hard mode.
I like that.
Not
But
recommended.
It's not recommended. While it's not banned. I really only recommend it for the tribals because their job is defense, as much as it is to be offensive and jerks. Their role is defensive. So
Our job is to hide where you can't see us and laser you in the butt cheeks.
now, what would make me the happiest, and this is a dare, I guess, to any tribals who are listening. If you want to make a Hawaiian ghillie, go for it. I'm all for that.
Stand
But,
by.
Would
Yeah.
that be considered a trash pile?
No, thank you.
Oh God, I really want to see somebody do that. But I mean, for faction players, avoid the ghillie suit. Bring your sniper rifles. That's fine. If you want to be that reach out and touch you kind of person, and we see probably 100 sniper rifles a year, and that's great. But don't think that you're going to be out there, defending the castle all day long. That's not going to happen.
We got Buck here scraping his ice cream off his bowl.
It was rice, thank you.
Heathen.
Can't see it.
All
Look
right,
like
I need to go ask my wife if I can buy 30 Hawaiian shirts to destroy.
I have a ghillie top in the Vietnam style, and all I did was I took an old, period correct camouflage jacket, cut some slits in it, attached some burlap, and I'll attach foliage from the AO the way it's supposed to be done. But the guys who come with the big old, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, there's a guy that looked like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, right. The walking trees. Like, why are you
Just-
doing it to yourself?
Drop in the mud, roll around for a few minutes, then grab your gun.
Right.
To be fair, most of us are at that age where we look at that and go, "That's too many extra steps."
That's
Yeah,
too
you're
hot.
not wrong.
That's hot.
And it's hot. Yeah. That's the one thing that, like,
I genuinely thought about running shirtless last year.
Nobody needs to see that, Buck.
no.
Listen, I would have wore my freaking chest
I gotta-
ring.
Let it happen, son. Let it happen.
Nips out.
Whips out.
You got your onesie ready, Buck?
I'm ordering it. I have not ordered it yet, but I did pick which one I'm getting.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would say probably I'm going to make up a percentage of what I've seen over the years. Maybe a quarter of the people out there don't take heat into account.
Frickin' Moondog.
Yeah, they'll just add to it. It's perfect. But like, take the heat into account. That's for anybody. You know, whatever kind of uniform outfit you're going to be wearing, make sure it's heat appropriate. I don't want to see any
neoprene sweaters.
right. No neoprene sweaters, no full, wool balaclavas. If you've got one of those,
No Russian military surplus winter gear.
hey, leave Todd alone.
Greens.
All right, leave Todd alone. Todd's is from Afghanistan. All right.
Well, between that and then I had to explain it to a couple of kids, and I say kids, and that makes me feel old. There's a difference between winter camo and summer camo, like in materials and fabric. Like there was a kid running around in full freaking cold weather gear.
That's what I'm talking about. Because I had a buddy do that, and I beat the pits out of him for it.
And that's where we get heat stroke.
Yeah,
Right.
If it's got lines in the camo pattern, the general way to tell. If there's visible lines in it, it's summer gear.
Yeah, the ripstop. Yeah. Well, and let's. I'm not telling anybody that they need to go out and buy all new gear. You have what you have. That's fine. But that being said, there isn't a single pattern that we allow for this game that doesn't exist in a T-shirt. I'm serious.
I mean,
if all you have is cold weather winter gear and you're on Green's Army, go buy an M81 T-shirt. Just
at one of the vendors that sell there.
Sure. Yeah, we'll be talking to the vendors in a few weeks.
They call it God's plaid for a reason.
Yeah, well,
too bad On To Go Surplus isn't there.
Multicam or whatever it's actually called. They have T-shirts. There you can get a tan or a desert camo T-shirt. You can get green T-shirts. You can definitely get a black T-shirt anywhere.
Not to mention Walmart's like 20 minutes down the road.
They had green, they had black, they had tan.
They got Hawaiian. I know that for a fact because this is where I got mine.
Now, that being said, because it is in the rules, let's say you only have, do they make cold weather multicam? But you don't want to wear a full sleeved multicam top. A white T-shirt is acceptable for Deus Ex.
Can we put in the rules that it is short sleeves only? Short sleeves or no sleeves?
No.
Learn to roll your sleeves.
Yeah, learn to roll. But you're gonna want especially in some of the, if you got people who really want to be bushwhackers and they want to really go for it, you want those long sleeves. So
fair enough.
Just make sure it's the right fabric. You don't be wearing freaking Gore-Tex in June. Just don't do that.
Or Gore-Tex boots.
Well, yeah.
Squab foot.
I knew somebody was going to say that. Gore-Tex boots are one thing. You might want the waterproofing, but yeah, be smart. But boots are still mandatory. No sneakers, no
cleats.
No cleats. Yeah, just please wear boots. Something that actually wraps around your ankle, please. That's my 2 cents plus some on that. So, but that is all covered in the player packet. Matter of fact, we can even look at what page. I think that's your cheat
Can you
sheet.
tell me there's a device, there's a thing that we can look at that tells us all the rules? I'd say blasphemy. I don't.
There it is, right there. Page 3 of the player packet. Reference sheet number 2. Gear requirements. It's not hard, my friends. It's not hard.
Nobody said I couldn't wear cleats.
I did. No cleats. Go
cleats.
put on boots. And break them in. If you're not a boots guy, break them in.
Or they'll break you in.
Yeah. Blisters are going to happen. Get some moleskin, and suck it up. That's life.
Word for the wise: duct tape your laces. It'll save you a whole headache a day.
That's a good point. Never thought about that.
Bring a roll of duct tape or electrical. Helps just keep that shit out of the way for the day.
Well, we still also have the rule where it is in the rules where some kind of name tape identification is required. So if
One year we literally ran name tape.
So if you don't have name tape on your actual gear, duct tape and a Sharpie. Put your name, put your call sign, anything.
And all by the end of the day too.
It's perfect.
Yeah, because we want to identify who we're going to yell at.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I need to know who to write down in my little book. That's not coming back. I do have that
I
little.
do appreciate yelling "Hey, you" and watching like 6 guys turn around.
That are picking at a single particular patch that is hyper specific. Hey, Pickle Rick!
Yo, dumbass! And then everybody turns around.
There has been a lot of talk. Well, for a couple hours of Saturday after the game and after the raffle, doing a patch swap meet.
I have been seeing that.
Are we still done the buy sell trade day thing? Or are we not going to try that again?
I haven't talked to Timmy about it. I didn't even realize it was still a thing.
I mean, it kind of happened like vaguely between campsites throughout the entire weekend. So I guess if you're gonna sell crap, just like bring a table.
Well, that's the problem that comes up is, if we have 1,000 people there and 500 of them want to participate and bring a table.
Yeah, we're already going to have 2 vendors on site who are actually, paying to be there. So to then set up your own flea market table, it's gonna rub people the wrong way, I think.
Maybe that's what happened. I know we tried it once,
Yeah.
and that one guy tried to finagle his way in.
Yeah, but we did talk about doing some patch trading on Saturday. I got my whole bag of stuff that I'm willing to part with.
I've got a bag too. A lot of old Bad Blood patches in there too.
Yeah, and then I've got my stuff that I'm not gonna part with. So.
That just stays on the wall. I don't bring it.
Losers in your patch walls.
Says that with how many behind you?
Doc, was this you, or did I get this from somebody else years ago?
That's from years ago. That was a little bit of the inspiration for the patch.
Okay.
Year.
Okay.
I still have one of your guys' patches up on my wall too.
I got plenty of extras if somebody wants a few.
And
they're on my way, baby.
I can give you one from last year just to have as a collection, regardless.
Yeah.
I burned the patch. What are you going to do about it? You
Oh.
going to a lot of me in the parking lot?
Yeah. And this was one of the original Marxist patches from back in the day.
I like it.
Had a whole mix of
Yeah,
icon.
Moondog, that's when I thought we tried it last time, was on a Sunday.
Yeah, but do you know how many people are gone by then? Like it's, which could be good, but
Double-edged sword.
I mean, I have a barrel of guns over there that I'm gonna try to get rid of if we do this.
Yeah, as long as Tim's all right with it, doing it Sunday or maybe even Saturday night, maybe in the pavilion. But I can't.
Everybody's too drunk
I can't
Saturday
speak
night.
to that. It's an option for anybody who's staying over. We can figure it out. I'll talk to him and see what he wants to do.
Why don't
Yeah,
we do
I'm
the
up for
trade day first night? Why don't we do trades on Friday?
because you want your vendors, especially if they're paying for the space,
Yeah,
to make their money.
because especially Friday, where if you get through Chrono early and you're kind of just bumming around, go shopping.
Let's say Friday and Saturday mornings are a high shopping day because everybody's grabbing stuff they need to play in all the crap they forgot.
Right.
And when their gun breaks for Chrono, they have to buy the backup.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to get too deep into tech services because that's something I want to discuss with Jackal in a few weeks. But make sure anything you bring works. Don't expect to show up to the field with a broken replica and somebody's going to fix it for you. That's not how we roll, and it happens. Well,
It happened way too many times for me last year because I was one of the only guys that had a toolbox.
yeah. It's just,
I was informed several years ago I am no longer allowed to bring my toolbox to Bad Blood because I get stuck fixing crap.
I'm not bringing mine again.
now you
I'm
just
bringing I bring my basic one for my own gear maintenance. It's small as hell.
But yeah, don't expect someone to, out of the kindness of their heart, fix your stuff because you didn't make sure it worked before you got there.
I can only be so nice so long a year.
Yeah.
I don't know how to fix the shit regardless, so I'm good. I'm settled.
And then there's Doc.
Honestly, I'm the same
I'm
way.
just here to party, guys. That's all.
I know very little about any kind of teching. I'm one of those guys where I will run my stuff completely stock until it breaks, and then I'll give it to a friend who does know how to tech and say, okay, I want this upgrade, I want this upgrade, and that's it.
So
You
you're
and me both, Paul.
usually
You and me
my
both.
clientele.
Run it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10, your stock stuff is going to be just fine. And
Especially something like
Crytek
that.
for life, baby.
what's your actual quote about Chrono? You know, the people who just upgrade their stuff to death.
Oh, it's a limit, not a goal.
Right. Thank you. Yeah. You know, yeah, that's the biggest thing. Oh, okay, well, yeah, mine is right at, you know, I forget what the joule is. What 150 1.54 joules. Okay, well, good for you, but you know what happens when it breaks? Why did you have to upgrade it to that point?
See, my favorite is when people take it to the limit and the gun still sucks. And they
Take it to the limit.
blame it on everything. There's a guy who had it was an AK that was right at the limit, and it was like every other BB was zigzagging all over the place. And I was like, "Yeah, cool, dude. You're at the limit. You're still not going to hit anything."
Someone needs a new hop up.
So you know, I've seen some of the best players with some of the cheapest gear. We had a player, a longtime staff player, years and years ago, came up with this ingenious trick. It was beautiful. He had a bunch of guys pinned down behind like a big pile of logs, and obviously he just couldn't get through it and couldn't get over it. He actually turned his stuff upside down, jacked his hop up, and was curveballing him in right over the top of this pile of logs. It was beautiful.
I've done that.
It works. You know, you don't have to have, you know, the latest and greatest thing with every upgrade known to man, because yeah, you're right. You don't know how to use it, and your stuff still sucks.
And not to mention, you're going to have funny moments regardless of how cool you think of an action's going to be. Like, for instance, at Thunderdome, which I'm pretty sure Joker saw this, I tossed a grenade as hard as I could. Beaver grabs it because it lands at his feet and throws it and kills my entire squad. Because I gave him the ammunition. It wasn't his gear. He just returned it to sender. You have random shit like that that's going to happen all the time. If your gun mat has a mistake, oh well, make do. Have fun. That's the whole point of the game. It's not going to go perfect. It never does.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. All right, I think we're about ready to wrap it up. Thanks for everybody tuning in, and those of you who are going to listen after the fact, thank you for listening to us rant and rave about nonsense for the last hour. Joker, what do you got coming up?
In a week from tomorrow, I'll be up in South Carolina at Third Coast Airsoft Stonebreaker. Then Wiener has a game down here that's Future Wars. It's like a Terminator style game. That's going to be first weekend of May 2nd at Battlefield Orlando. I don't know. It's a long ass name for an airsoft field. You can check out New Breed Airsoft for that. We have Syndicate 5, September, May 30th through June 1.
Where's that gonna be at?
That's going to be at Mid Orange Correctional in Warwick, New York. So, and then we just put up the new things for the next cruise for next year. Pew Pew at Sea 4.
Awesome. Doc, what's your game plan so everybody can cheat?
Run straight at Fort War. And just
That's Black Shirt strategy, man. What's up with that?
Town. You all can come get me. I'm right there, right in the middle. Not moving.
I
Bottleneck.
come 3:30 in the afternoon. If I need to find Deus Ex, I just go to Tippin Town anyway because they're all just standing there.
Usually.
We've been the unlucky souls north of the border up there at E8.
Buck, what do you got going on?
I am headed to Apocalypse on Saturday. Other than that, I am working pretty much up until Bad Blood because I'm just running. I just was in a car accident last week, so I am having to pay that off.
Oh, okay.
Just a black eye.
Figured that was just you mouthing off.
Oh, no. No, I decided to put my car face first into a tree.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
And Virtue,
Fuck that tree.
how's the farm?
Oh, I'm going back for vengeance. Round 2, bitch.
The farm is good. We did some planting and sowing the last couple of days. I got my puppy who's somewhere right now. My wife is screaming at because he's being a puppy. But that's pretty much. I'm working the farm up until Bad Blood.
Awesome. All right. I want to thank everybody for coming on out, and I will see everybody in 2 weeks. Happy Bad Blood.